UPS wants their employees to have the resources to accomplish their job functions efficiently and safely. It's understood that no job is so important that you have to risk injury to get it done. That's why UPS safe work methods were developed. By addressing the major sources of known risk to our employees, we can help eliminate these injuries in the future. During the next 6 modules, we'll cover safety information you need to prepare for the workday and effectively complete the task at hand. For additional information, refer to your employee guide, which covers each module in greater detail. As employees of air and freight operations, there are specific elements to your job you need to know. Before you ever start your workday, it's important you come prepared for work. One aspect of this is how you dress for the job. Prior to each workday, be aware of the expected weather forecast and plan accordingly. If it's going to be cold, plan on extra layers of clothing to absorb sweat and provide multiple air barriers from the cold air. In hot or humid weather, wear cotton or any type of breathable clothing, which allows heat to escape. But regardless of the weather, your clothing should be comfortable. However, stay away from baggy clothing and loose jewelry. They could potentially get caught in moving equipment, causing serious injury. Something else to consider is the type of shoes you're wearing. Normal everyday tennis shoes or high tops don't provide the protection your feet need and are not approved. Only wear sturdy work shoes with all leather uppers, a slip-resistant sole, and good arch support. Paired with good socks, your feet will be well cushioned and protected from blisters. But besides better comfort and support, good work shoes can help prevent slips and falls and protect your feet from falling objects. Now, one more thing. Break in new shoes before wearing them to work and double check their condition as they experience wear and tear. In addition to dressing for your job, you also need to be physically ready. Make sure to get plenty of rest. This will keep you refreshed and focused. And as you prepare for your workday, remember to stretch at home and with your work group. This will wake your body up and get you prepared for the day. Use slow, controlled movements and avoid bouncing. But stop if you feel any pain. You shouldn't hurt when you're stretching. Preventing dehydration isn't just a heat-related issue. You can experience dehydration even in the coldest of winter months, so you need to think about it year-round. Signs that you may be experiencing dehydration are feeling dizzy and lightheaded, having a dry or sticky mouth, or experiencing muscle cramps. A good way to stay hydrated is by staying away from caffeinated beverages. And drink water early and often before you feel thirsty. Remember, feeling thirsty is an early indicator of dehydration. Also, foods like grapes, oranges, and celery are high in water content. They're also a good substitute to fatty, high-carb snacks, which can limit your stamina and increase fatigue. Staying mentally ready is another key to work preparedness. It's important to arrive on time and get organized for the workday. You should have a thorough understanding of your job and what's expected of you. The current job methods training is essential to this. Also, stay focused on what you're doing. Allowing distractions can break your routine and lead to injuries. And if you have a personal or a family situation, seek out someone you trust and talk it out. As you might expect, preparing for work includes reviewing your work area. Each day, complete a pre- and post-trip. This lets you know if your tools and equipment are in a good, safe condition, and if you have the right tools for the job. Also, be sure to inspect conveyor secure devices and guard devices. If you do encounter a problem, like a broken tool, report it immediately to your supervisor. After reviewing your work area, adjust equipment and the job setup to maximize safety and efficiency. Here's a sample of some of the equipment you might have available. Load stands, hand carts, shepherd's hook, load retainers, and PZ carts. After you've finished using any tool or equipment, make sure it's placed back in its designated storage area. Lifting and lowering is the leading cause of injury to UPS employees each year. This can not only affect your ability to do your job, but can disrupt your personal life as well. The key to preventing these types of injuries is by knowing your power zone, the area between your mid-thighs to the armpit area. Within this range of motion, you harness your greatest strength capability with the most comfort. At the same time, you're minimizing the strain on muscles and joints. Another aspect to protecting yourself while lifting and lowering is by understanding your in-range motion. This occurs at the extreme limits of a particular body part's movement. Let me show you what I mean. When I try to pick up this package, if my elbows move in front of my body while reaching out to lift it, I'm using an in-range motion. Lifting and lowering this way requires greater effort and increases the strain on your back. Plus, you wear out more quickly, increasing your chances for an injury. Now, I'll try lifting this package using my power zone. Notice my feet are planted shoulder width apart, and I'm keeping my back straight and bending at the knees. I'm using my legs and tightening my stomach muscles to take pressure off my back. Now I have the package in my power zone, and I didn't strain my back picking it up. And notice I didn't twist. Instead, I turned and stepped, keeping the package in my power zone and over my feet. You have access to a lot of equipment designed to make your job easier and safer, such as this extendo or load stand. Adjusting your equipment height can change a movement from a lifting to a lowering motion, requiring less energy. Or, when possible, you can use your equipment to move a package laterally. Sometimes an object is just too big or awkward to carry. In those situations, slide, walk, or roll the object, and use the equipment at hand to help you. Ultimately, you need to understand your limits. Each person has a different strength capacity. So if you need assistance, ask for it. Otherwise, you may set yourself up for a serious back injury. This is probably a good time to mention the 8 keys to lifting and lowering. Not only are they good tips to know, but they'll also appear as depth of knowledge questions on your CSE audit. Now, I know I just showed you how to pick up a package using your power zone, but proper lifting and lowering doesn't end there. Let's walk through each step. First, get close to the object and work within your power zone. If you need to, pull or slide the object toward your stomach. Your feet should be approximately shoulder width apart, with one foot slightly ahead of the other. This will give you better balance and help you keep the object in your power zone. Now, bend at your knees. Using your leg muscles maintains your back's natural curve and keeps pressure off your back. But don't forget to test the object's weight before lifting. This is easy to do by tilting or sliding it. Also, you should never grasp packages by straps and bands. They could break and cause you to drop the package or possibly cut your hands. Now you're ready to lift the object. Firmly grasp opposite corners, one hand on top and the other on the opposite bottom corner. This will help you bring the object into your power zone and keep you from lifting with a jerking motion. Always lift with a smooth, steady movement, letting all the muscles work together. Once you have the object in hand, remember to move your feet instead of twisting your body. Twisting forces you into an end of range position. Now, anytime it's possible, use the existing equipment or facilities to assist in lifting and lowering. The less time you spend bearing the weight of an object, the better. The second leading source of injury at UPS is caused by slips and falls. So, what can you do to protect yourself? Well, actually, there are 5 keys to preventing slips and falls. And be aware, these will also appear as depth of knowledge questions. When moving from one task to another, never run. Keep yourself to a brisk and steady pace. Remember, the surfaces and conditions where you work can change often. So always maintain a firm footing, keep your balance, and pay attention. And it's important to mention, never walk on conveyor rollers, chutes, and slides. These surfaces are designed to move packages, not you. Also, look where you're going to avoid surprises. This will help you avoid obstacles or spills in your pathway. And pay attention before stepping on or off vehicles, docks, and other surfaces. Also, as the weather changes, you'll need to adjust to those conditions. Surfaces can become slippery and wind-blown debris can cause trip hazards. Those 5 keys will go a long way to keeping you safe, but keep these additional tips in mind as well. You need to maintain adequate egress. Keeping safety exits open goes a long way to protecting yourself and co-workers from injuries. Now, keep in mind, when you're walking with an object, look around before you take the first step and use the designated pathways. They're there to protect you and others operating powered equipment in your area. Also, if you come across a blocked walk path or liquid spilled on the floor, resolve the situation immediately. If it's not something you can take care of, report it right away to your supervisor. When it comes to using steps or ladders, take your time and be cautious. You should always face the ladder or equipment steps you're working with. This allows you to maintain 3 points of contact at all times and places you in a better position to stop a fall. Remember to use every step or rung and don't jump. The third leading cause of injury at UPS is connected to pushing and pulling. While these movements differ from lifting and lowering, there are similarities when it comes to keeping yourself safe. Remember your power zone and in-range motion? They're just as important when dealing with pushing and pulling. And just as when you're lifting and lowering objects, you need to understand your limits. Ask for help when you need it. Once again, sturdy work shoes play an important role in your safety and protection. Slip-resistant soles will help prevent slips and falls as you're pushing and pulling objects. Also, maximizing your leg strength is key to protecting yourself from injury. They're the strongest muscles in your body, so use them. When pushing and pulling, remember to use a smooth, steady motion. Jerking motions keep your muscles and joints from moving within their normal range, potentially causing muscle or ligament sprains. So let your muscles do the work for you. Now, when it comes down to it, how should you decide whether to push or pull an object? In some situations, pulling provides an advantage over pushing. When you're using a PZ card, it makes sense that you pull it. Ultimately, your goal is to maintain control of the object while reducing the amount of effort it takes to move it safely. Powered equipment is a major factor in getting a job done quickly and efficiently. Whether you're operating the equipment or working around it, if not taken seriously, you could be risking your safety. Every employee operating powered equipment must be trained on proper uses and safety concerns to help eliminate potential injuries. Those of you authorized to drive vehicles on the ramp must wear a seatbelt at all times, obey posted speed limits, and communicate in traffic. This applies to forklift operators as well. You also need to be aware of pedestrian traffic. Using the vehicle's horn, honk once when moving forward or twice when backing up. And it's important to check that your equipment has functioning headlights. Don't forget emergency lights and beacons. As a pedestrian, we all have a responsibility to stay within designated walk paths and to use pedestrian doors whenever possible. You should also remember, except for designated pedestrian walkways and brake areas, only certified personnel are allowed on the ramp or in the yards. And remember, certified ramp employees are required to wear a reflective vest anytime they're working on the ramp or in the yards. It's also important to obey traffic signs and signals. You can see the person operating the vehicle, so make eye contact and create awareness. Planning for the unexpected can never be emphasized enough. Injuries associated with unforeseen events are a significant source of employee injury at UPS. While you can't predict when something will happen, you can make sure you're prepared for any situation. One way of doing this is by having a set routine. This allows you to pay attention to anything out of the ordinary. You should also face your work. When you pay attention to the task at hand, potentially hazardous situations are caught ahead of time. Something else to consider is what to do in an emergency. Make sure you know the location of equipment emergency shutoffs. You should also locate eye wash and safety showers and know how to use them. If an evacuation is required, know your nearest exit and where to assemble after leaving the building. In case of a non-evacuation emergency, be aware of your refuge area location. But during any activity, maintain a safe path of egress and never block an exit path. Be aware of sharp edges and splintered surfaces. These types of issues should be reported immediately for repair or replacement. Implement a clean-as-you-go policy. There are facilities for storing equipment and disposing of trash. Also, prevent FOD by cleaning out your truck and truck bed after each shift. Each of these tips will help you work more efficiently and have a better chance of noticing developing hazards. Remember, preparing your job setup each day will keep you focused and mentally ready. Understanding the 8 keys to lifting and lowering and knowing your power zone will make your job easier and safer. Keep in mind the 5 keys to slips and falls, and use designated pathways and ladders appropriately. Use the same lifting and lowering principles when pushing and pulling objects, and ask for help when you need it. Pay attention to powered equipment and know your responsibilities as an operator and pedestrian. And always plan for the unexpected. Accidents will happen in spite of our best intentions, but by following the procedures outlined in the employee guide and this video, you will reduce the risk of injury. Use the information and tools provided and stay safe.